Awesome. If I had $1 million, I'd hire JD. I'm sure that's what it would cost. S&P, look at this. So I don't know how well this midday is going to go here. So I was just being interviewed by a journalist that, oh, what can I say? What can I say? It was in person, if you can believe that. And caught him off guard. He didn't realize what he was stepping into. So we didn't even get like 1/100th of the conversation dealt with. But in person. SPXL. Buy. Quantity. 300. Market. SPXL. Buy. Quantity. Man, if the S&P gets going, it's going to be such a face ripper on the other side of the Fed. But it's whether or not it, I think the stars line up here. It's just going to rip the face off of the bears if, number one, the chart structurally gets where it needs to be, and it's just testing it right now. And if, the market receives the Fed well. Well, it's testing the first test. The second test is right here. But if it gets up in here, and we get on the other side of the Fed, and the market receives the Fed well, that's going to be a face ripper for the bears. So if you weren't in the room this morning and you're a new trader that needs to see how the ebb and flow of positions work, you might want to take a look at the video for this ring once it's published. It's uploading right now. Because it at least gives a new trader a general idea of how to get in and out of the positions like ARRY and AAOI and the thinking behind it and stuff. There were a number of executions there this morning. Down in the bottom left there's executions on that, and down in the bottom left of that one, there's executions. So I'm waiting to see if SPY actually gets going here. So what I'll do is I'll alarm this. Because this is really setting up for a huge, huge ripper. Because if it gets up, I'll tell you right now, here's your S&P review. If it gets up over this 250.02, works its way up. If it works its way into here, this is bullish. But if it works its way into here and it holds this line right here, now this quad is bearish, but the fact that it's above that line is extremely bullish. So both are bullish scenarios in different ways. But here's the point. If it works its way up that line, if you go through the chart, it'll hit a bullish quad up, a ways over. And if it holds that line and it gets into that bullish quad, it is pausa, gone. So if it doesn't get up over this line, there's a possibility it'll be caught between that line and this line right here, broadening, which is not good. That's bearish, right? But anyway, my point is basically up over 250.20 and holds it. The advantage to bulls goes way up, and it's all in how it handles these quads and where it goes after that. But it would be setting up either way for a very serious rip the face off of the bears session for quite a while. So probably it is the most important decision area in the S&P that I've seen in months, many months. Now, of course, if it goes the other way, well, then it goes the other way, and there's the opposite scenario lining up down there. But being that the plunge protection team is friendly with the S&P, yeah. So that's the S&P. Actual quick, whatever they're called, announcements. So yeah, I was just doing an interview that was really kind of interesting. He wants access to my beach house to see everything. I don't think I'm going to give it to him. We sat outside. There's a war coming between the central banks and the cryptocurrencies, and the people that are going to get squished in between, of course, are the people modeling. So that's the essence of the story. Oh, Leanne, she's liking stuff. Get in the room. I'm joking. She's taking time off, from what I understand, of active everyday stuff. She's hanging out on her piece of ocean property. Okay. Trump. It's funny, hey? Look here. Here's an example of the story he's working on. 10,000 impressions over 24 hours. My impressions went from 50 to 100,000 impressions a day to 10,000 as soon as I started talking about Jamie Dimon and the combination of Jamie Dimon and crypto and how they bought up the dip, and I called, in advance. I said they were going to buy it up, and then they bought it up. That whole process, Twitter, what's the word? Lagged, or there's a word for it. But anyway, my impressions went from 50,000 to 100,000 to 10,000 a day. Crazy, hey? Go back into any videos and look when I go to my feed and see how many impressions a day I get. It happened immediately, as soon as I started tweeting about Jamie Dimon and the Fed and crypto and what was going on. Yeah. So anyway, I can beam from Mogadishu, no problem. They have internet there. XBTUSD MACD near a curl up on the daily. This is really important news. As long as our chart will come up. Here's the 30-minute. There's that sidewinder I was telling you about. A little bit of a pop, not much, but the stock RSI has turned up. But it's got major resistance above it's got to work through. And it's my thesis that it will. And how long it'll take, anywhere from an hour to a year, I have no idea. What was I going to say there? The announcement was MACD near a curl up, right? So this is the main indicator. I'm watching the MACD on the data on XBTUSD, which will be reflective of Bitcoin. That MACD gets going, and that resistance will blow through fast. The resistance, of course, is all in this area here between 4,000 and 43, 44, 4,000 to 44. Once it gets up over that 44 and a half range, that's it. It's goodbye. And the next move is serious. It's technically, if you do the charting on moves, so this is a 50% retracement on the daily chart. So the potential retracements, the move on that, the extension on that is potentials are extreme. So I'm just going to trade through the resistance, if my thesis is right, and find out the natural trading ranges of it properly. So I'm going to personally touch up and downs and add and subtract the ebb and flow. And then once we get up out on the other side of the resistance, XBTUSD, I can hammer down at 100 times leverage. So my personal trading plan, and it's a big deal for me personally, and anybody else that might want to learn, is I'm going to find all those trading ranges, the natural trading range. Once it gets up out of it, I'll start to hammer down on my leverage. To give you an example, this washout here to this upside leveraged 5,000 there is 150,000 there. The next move will make this look like, kindergarten. So yeah, that's my announcement and trading plan on XBTUSD in a nutshell. The email list, just so you know, folks do get certain things in there. Swing trades, if you check the results, 100 to 500% a year. Last quarter's been a little bit tougher, but this is a big news article for me. So if you're interested in why I'm trading the equities that I'm trading right now, this will tell you a little bit about it. SEC Advisory Committee, this is a big deal. Blockchain, there's a war. The public just has, it's not right in the public. Hurricane, possibly here Thursday afternoon. So if so, Sartaj will have the rooms on Thursday and Friday, and I'll be holed up in a cave somewhere. The hurricane or the CBs, one of the two are going to cause me to hole up in a cave here soon. Trading ebb and flow of this position. Okay, so that's my XBTUSD. And still need some interns. Sartaj is working with the group right now, getting them ready. And I think those are all the updates. There was a bunch of the reviews actually published to YouTube. I'm still astounded day to day at, and I'll just say it really quick. Like, I don't care, but I care, but I don't care. I care about the actual, I'm not even going to say it. I'll just say it this way. My record's clear. It's 100 to 500% a year on swings. I put out those YouTubes of, structurally how I get 100 to 500%. And yeah, these. And, we might get 20, 40, 50, 100, 200 views. It just blows my mind. And then, Buddy is rolling around and, his money in his bathtub doing a skit or something. And he gets, it's like, oh well, January's not far away. And that'll be it. Okay. And by the way, to be clear, anybody that's with us when we, go dark in January sometime, it'll be probably by the end of January that we just don't entertain any more retail incumbents entering. We won't leave anybody behind for sure. But, we're going into coding. We got our investment pool, and, we'd like to set up some really cool trading platforms and stuff. We might not ever go fully dark, but I'm personally not going to entertain the idea of retail incumbents, or that's probably the wrong word, new entries, let's put it that way. I personally will not entertain new retail entries or relationships beyond January, end of January next year. Anybody existing, of course, because they've obviously aren't the normal retail trader, and the profile of our average trader is much more serious than the average retail trader, if that makes sense. So I'm trying to say that in a very, there's no way to say it nice. Everybody hates you for it. So this was one, Tracy, BW, she brought into the room. I like it. I've got the alarm set on it. I've got some funky hills there that represent symmetry, that if it breaks symmetry and gets divergent to the upside, that I'm going to fully take advantage of the fact that Tracy brought that into the room. So thank you very much. That should be a half decent setup. I'm going to flip past XBTUSD because we already talked about it. ARRY was one of my holds, and I've been slowly getting out of it as it goes up. One account still holds it. Well, one account that represents other accounts because there's other accounts connected to those. But anyway, I've been trailing it off. We'll see what it does. It could even do more. On pullbacks on ARRY, I will buy, that are structurally set up. AAOI, so this morning was busy for me, of course. Different traders have different styles. It's funny because some days when Corey, he's really busy, I'm like twiddling my thumbs, and today I'm super busy. These weren't the only ones that I was watching either, by the way. But I don't, talk about everything. AAOI, pullbacks, it's a buy for me. I'm looking at 72.49 as a target. That's the first target. That's not the only target though. So 72 to 73 is the first target. It got up to 71.30 and pulled back. I've been trailing out, but I want to buy back in. The daily, it got through its 100 this morning, and the 50 is its next resistance. Up over the 50, and things get interesting because something called a sidewinder is starting to develop here. This thing gets a sidewinder on it, and well, here's one here, and here's one here. And this sidewinder, it went from 45 to, well, on its first little bump, 67, and then up from there for a total of 77. So it almost doubled on its first sidewinder. Its next sidewinder went from 59.44 to, well, it just about doubled again. So being that there's another sidewinder setting up here, and this one's a fairly serious one if it sets up. This is more serious than these two. It would be broader, bigger, but not as tight, but it's a sidewinder nonetheless. So am I going to leave this chart on probably 24 hours a day and study it? Yes. So AAOI and XBTUSD are my two biggest watches. Between those two issues, and I'm not exaggerating, like XBTUSD, I expect, well, with 100 times leverage and what I see in this chart and what I think is going to happen here, I think I'll be able to do in 1 year what would normally take me in trading 20 to 50 years. Not 100 years, it's 100 times leverage, so that's possible, but call it 20 to 50 years. That's how excited I am about what's happening in crypto. It's massive. People just don't understand what's happening here yet. I technically went through this sell-off in great detail, and I know exactly what happened in this sell-off and what didn't happen. And I'll tell you what didn't happen. A panic did not happen. This was the most technical, structured sell-off and buy that you could possibly have on the market. When it got to the bottom, we hammered down and bought Bitcoin. I'm not talking about actually entering XBTUSD. I'm talking about we started buying Bitcoin and setting up various accounts and getting ready for this and the next. That's how serious I am about it. In fact, I'm so serious about it, if I put everything aside, absolutely everything, and just do this until that full extension's over, I would do it. But I'm talking about everything. That's how serious I am. Because you can literally, if it proves through what I think is going to happen, you could literally retire yourself and generations. I'm telling you. And you know what? If you look back on my calls, you'll find I'm not that bad at making calls. And when this happens, I'm going to trade it live, and hopefully it'll be done by the end of January. And then I could just, hang out with our traders, build models, and if anybody else wants to take in new retail traders, they can. Like say we had another trader, like just Chris as an example, or Tracy wanted to, work with new traders, they could. But I won't. That'll be it for me. I'm getting too old. ARRY. So ARRY on the daily, let's take a real quick look at it. So its only hope here is straight price action breakout. Now, when I say only hope, it's already through its 200. The 20 is already through the 200, and the 50 is about to go through the 200. Every time one of these MAs go through the 200, the chances for more lift decrease, right? So it's only a couple legs in so far, but you got to be aware of that. And so you take your symmetry from the previous moves, and then you can kind of project what's going to happen in the future. I don't think there's much more upside here, like short term, right? So I'm watching it close. Like the one account, I'm completely out. The other account, I'm only in 100 shares from 600. It just didn't. I thought maybe it would get a little more serious, and so I'm giving it a little bit of, patience, but very, very little patience. But I'm watching it, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to alarm it real quick, and then I'll get into the movers on the day. And I go off on rants and stuff all the time about, stuff and retail traders and different things in the markets and blah, blah, blah. But I do it because, for me, it's about, politically correct for me is I don't get it. And, I get that other people like it. That's great for them. Me, I'm here to help other people. So I've got to say things straight. That's the only way I know how. And the other thing I'm here for is to earn money and, provide for maybe a generation or two or three so they don't have to worry and, have a decent retirement. So, beyond that, I just couldn't do it politically correct. In fact, I can't believe how politically correct I'm, like how harnessed I am in it. So I don't know what that was. I think that was an apology, explanation / apology / warning. Harry, okay, that was awesome. AAOI, almost at the 50, up over the 50. I'm game for more. A pullback, which is what I think is going to happen. I'm game for more. I'm just game all around for this one. So this one, as a day trade and a swing trade, it's my number one friend. XBTUSD, I explained. BW, we know what we're watching for, and the S&P, we know exactly what we're watching for. Any others that I have on my immediate watch list are GBTC, so that's an Bitcoin play related. China is shutting down Bitcoin trading, but not OTC. This is an OTC issue, and I have a sneaking suspicion. So you see how it's off 1.2% today? XBTUSD is off almost 3%. So that's that divergence that I'm watching for. That should be off, approximately the same amount. They're not. So I believe you're going to see this one go to the moon. So GBT, now timing on these crypto plays, and by the way, just so you know, I'm not saying that crypto is going to the moon next month. I don't know. It could take time. So I just don't ever want a REIT, or any trader coming back to me saying, you said it was going to go to the moon. I don't have any timing on any of this. I do know that the only way the central banks are going to win the war, beyond putting pressure on people like me or other people that are related to the business, is the only way they'll win that war is to buy it all up. They have to kill liquidity and price discovery. Putting people in prison and chasing them around the world isn't going to work because, the surf aren't giving up on this one. This will be the biggest battle the central banks will ever have in their history, now or into the future, because it's the game changer. It takes away all their power. And they can't throw everybody in prison because when the serfs get it, they don't ever go back. They don't go, I'm going to go back to my hole now. They rise up. It's Brexit. It's the Arab Spring. It started with the Arab Spring, right? Well, it started with technology and enabled the Arab Spring. It went into Brexit. It went into the American elections, and it's in crypto. And, you know, so things like going into Iraq and killing 300,000 innocent women and children to chase a guy into a hole because he has weapons of mass destruction, that kind of thing is not going to go, it's not going to fly in the future. Bitcoin and related cryptocurrencies level that playing field. So it gives the average serf, people like me at least, and others listening, I know, the opportunity to actually have a proper voice so that they aren't enslaved and future generations aren't enslaved. For example, Jamie Dimon recently decided that he was going to try and kill Bitcoin's chart structurally, and when that chart saved itself technically exactly where it needed to on a 50% retracement, his you know, cronies, let's put it that way, bought up the chart and took it long after Jamie said it was a fraud, right? So there's a lot of things going on right now that are going to cause, like just that one move, you know, causes the serfs to say. But you know, things like the 08, 09 price or the market crash and the, you know, the Great Recession, quote unquote, that was a nothing burger. They created the image in the public's minds, even Wall Street's minds, that it was a big deal. It wasn't a big deal. It was billions of dollars. They could have fixed it in a second. They just mishandled it, and then they took the opportunity to change the laws and further ensnare the average serf and their families for generations into debt. You know, and they've added 10 trillion or more in debt, right? So if they think that the average serf like me is going to sit down and shut up and not say anything, they've completely lost their minds. The end game is on. You're welcome to, you know, try and shut me up all you want. I don't care. Go right ahead. Twitter. Jerks. Jerks. Okay. GBTC. This is that China play. So you know what? Just in good measure here, why don't we see if I can't remember if these are rigged up yet for OTC. GBTC. Let's see. Stock. Bitcoin Investment Trust. Buy. Quantity 100. Let's see if this one's rigged up. Market. Submit. Your order is not accepted. In order to obtain the desired position, your previous day equity with loan value must exceed their initial margin. 290, no, 29,000. Must exceed the initial margin of 82,000. Wowza. Sartaj. Print screen. Okay, let's go over to this other one here. What the hell was that? GBTC. Stock, buy, quantity, market. No trading permission. Oh yeah, okay, so this one still has to be set up with trading permissions, but the other one, I don't understand the other one. That was an interesting, what does that mean? Your order is not accepted. In order to obtain the desired position, your previous day equity with loan value, 29,000, must exceed the initial margin, 82,000. I don't understand. Doesn't matter. Okay, we'll figure that out later. Sartaj. Then we also have, I got to get back to this reporter here at 1 o'clock. AAOI, XBTUSD. That's going to be tough because I want to trade the afternoon. VERI. So this one, you know, this one shouldn't leave my screen either. These GBTC, AAOI, XBTUSD, I'm going to BW off until it alarms. And VERI, these shouldn't leave my screen. These should be the ones that, and by the way, just in case you weren't in the room this morning, The new computers are absolutely totally going to be set up this week. I'm not lying. I have commitments with a clear plan. The only thing that might just delay it just a little bit is the hurricane. VERI, but we have a plan in place. Okay, let's put this up. Wow, it's up 34% today. Crazy. Okay, I need Sartaj to tell me what's going on with that thing. I have to remember. Okay, here we go. VERI. Nice chart. Straight price action. So, wow, I had no idea this was going to go as heavy duty as it did today. I didn't go with it today because I wanted to see on its breakout one candle. Because, you know, through these parabolic moves, you typically get this scenario where you get candles side by side. And I wanted to get a feel for its next range. Wowza. So I'm going to, you know, tomorrow I'll be trading a range. But I hate trading day one ranges on straight price action breakouts. That's kind of the point. And I'm paying for it. Damn. But I'm a chicken trader, and that's the way it is. What else did I have on my list today? Apple. I'm not even going to worry about Apple. It got its upgrade, so I was like, well, you know, the S&P will probably get going then. And blah, blah, and what was happening on the chart. What else do we have on this list here? Quick. Oh, there's my alert on the S&P. Getting jiggy. Yeah. Look at that, hey. Poor bears. Tough to be a bear in here. This might just face right off 250.10. So, okay. I wish I was able to speak more politically correct. Sartaj is really good at it. Him and I are definitely yin and yang in almost every category. I wonder what he thinks. Okay. Where's those other watches here? Okay, so this morning I like the AAOI charts considering 72ish, and then SPY and bull mode, BTC, XBTUSD, Jamie Dimon and his shit. Recent momentum stocks to watch, NBRV, SSNI. I'm not sure what they did today. NBRV, yeah. How did it do? I didn't have time to alarm them or anything. It's going to be interesting the next 6 years, boy, because the models are going to get built out. The machines are going to have them all programmed. The war with cryptos and central banks. Wow, look at this. It's up on the day. Again, nice. All of that's going to play out, like the algorithm models, the crypto, you know, Elon trying to get them to Mars before the surfs completely rise up. All of that's happening in the next 6 years. It's a pretty amazing time to be alive. So it's NBRV. It's got a very interesting range now, doesn't it? It's crazy range. It's crazy town. So I'm gonna work with this one. And then the other one was SSNI. I don't think I have an interest in working with this one, but let's see. Crazy time to be alive. Got a few people that have committed to babysitting Monkey while I go do a little traveling here soon. Yeah, so this one's not getting a lot of follow through, so I'm not going to worry about that one. Yeah, so gold dropping S&P. So earlier in the day, that's what I said was likely, right? So gold to come off, S&P to go up, XBTUSD to turn, GBTC to turn, you know, and XBT USD has started its turn here. It's a little mid-range right now, but it'll probably turn up. It's but it has that resistance though too. Any metals right now, I'd be very, very careful being in metals. I mean, they can go at any time, of course, but you have to be careful with them because people that like the metals, at very minimum, a lot of them are splitting their money because there's only so much money around between crypto and metals, right? And as crypto proves itself, and I'll tell you, structurally, crypto just proved itself in a big way. As it proves itself, and if it gets through that resistance, it'll have totally proved itself structurally. Anybody that you know has the resolve to be in crypto will be in crypto, and metals will take a serious pounding. Just so you know. So at the same time that I'll tell you how to play it, as XBTUSD gets through 4,500 on the other side of 4,500 and gets going. You can go long XBTUSD or short the metals like gold and silver. And a lot of people disagree with me, and I get it. That's my thesis. That's what I believe is going to happen. I'm, you know, I'm a technician. I'm not a fundamentals guy, but I do have a habit of calling things. You can get a hold of anybody's Twitter record, and you can look at my calls like that, wide-ranging, you know, market-changing kind of calls, or you know, elections or whatever, Brexit or the Arab Spring or any of those kind of things. And I think you'll find that I just don't call them unless I'm absolutely convinced of something, and my target rate's pretty high, like 100% on those kind of calls. And I'm telling you that when crypto gets through that 500 range and it goes, if that happens, that metals like gold and silver are going to be a massive short because those people will be in crypto. Gold is worth nothing. It's over for gold. But you know, crypto's got its own problems. Okay, so that's not what we're here for. We are GBTC. LXRX CEO bought 30,000 shares, so that's an insider buy on LXRX. It's not the biggest buy in the world, but you know, it's big enough. Some earnings on deck, so that's tight. So that's recent current holds. That's an explanation of what happened yesterday. Snap, what a dog. So reminds me of Twitter. Twitter all around is useless. Stock trade's useless. Its platform is useless because they're tied in with central banks and Jamie Dimon and the Fed and all the rest of those yahoos. 10,479 impressions. How do you go from 50 to 100,000 impressions a day every single day of your Twitterverse life to 10,000 impressions magically? How does that happen? Just magically out of the blue. And let me tell you, there's a lot more people interested in crypto and various things that I'm talking about there when it went from 50 to 100,000 to down to 10,000 than there is interested in, you know, AAOI, for example. Throttling, that's what it's called. They're throttling it. Adding GBT, there's a whole lot of rants coming soon, let me tell you, but that'll be later. Adding GBTC, what's this here? Okay, so this is the other chart. So GBTC, AAOI, FIT, I'm not sure how it's doing. I'm not interested in it right now. FSLR, really solid chart. If I wasn't in these ones, I'd have that one up. I'd be looking at it. JKS, all of these, you know, some of them might not be doing too well, but I'm, you know, this is a sweet list in my opinion. If somebody's, you know, needing some ideas to trade, you know, this list gives you a mixture of all kinds of stuff that's structurally awesome. Yeah, so that's the list as far as I can see. Any momos on the day, so I got 20 minutes here. Twitter's gonna get replaced too. Twitter will be replaced. The thing about Twitter, this platform, the code and everything else involved with it, the guys tell me that they could reproduce this in lightning speed. It's basically, it's basically a name, right? True story. Talk to anybody that knows anything about it. Their technology is basically open source. I mean, from what I understand, like Sartaj is like, I could recreate that like instant. So that's the problem with the technology. It's the problem with all of it. What were we going to do here? Oh yeah, we were going to do, I'm so mad today. So many different ways. I can't even tell you. Oh, I'm angry. And the thing is, you get me angry and I win all the time. Every time. Like every time. I'm an awesome revenge trader. C8. It also gets me working in VERI, CAPR. Trying to remember what I know about this. I don't think I know much about it. NBRV, I don't know what to do here because it's, you know what, it's just not good enough. I'm going to cut it. It'll be on my list anyway. Yeah, I should, you know, that false followers thing, I should, I don't know if you can run it on any account, Greg, but if you can run it on mine, that'd be awesome. We tried to get rid of it, like a bunch of, I had some help with some people trying to get rid of like the bots doing stuff and like false followers at one time, and it's just like, they just annoy me because you get like, you know, activity for nothing, right? It's like you're having supper or something. CAPR, like in my world where you're trying to keep up and actually answer to everybody and, you know, interact with people that need help and stuff, it's really frustrating to have bots in there. It's just aggravating. Well, that's interesting, eh? So it's right up against natural resistance, right up against its 200. It might prove itself out. I don't know what the news was, but look at that. Huh. That's really interesting, actually. Why don't we just set an alarm and see? Thanks, Greg. Yeah, if you have, you know, if you can or can't or whatever, that's great. It's not a huge thing, but it, I mean, it is a nuisance. And for, you know, a live wire personality like mine, it even makes it worse. HMNY's got follow through. That's really interesting. So, did I leave this on my watch list? I can't remember. Because I've been in and out of watching it. And there's things about it I don't like. I like and I don't like. It just didn't make the short list. I think I had, maybe it was yesterday or the day before. But anyway, I've been in and out of that chart and I'm surprised it's got follow through. Look at that. Jeepers. Oh, that's why I didn't execute. I was afraid of this, right? It goes up and then it's down, up and then it's down. Yeah, it's the chart history I didn't like. But this is divergent. It's up and then it's up. See that on the daily? It's divergent now. Shoot. Shoulda, woulda, coulda, eh? But, you know, that's the way it is. The difference is it just got the 200, and I remember thinking that to myself, well, it's got the 200. Yeah, but look at its chart history. I should have given it a bit more, but, you know, there's so much going on. Interesting. Wowza. Congratulations if anybody's in that. That's a one hell of a play. Well, here too, I guess if it gets followed through, I'll go with it. Dang it. I hate taking this even off the board. Well, GBTUSD I can take off the board because does it say 8%? No, that's not what that means. 1%. Sometimes I concern myself. Let's just go with I want to get this off the board here. Well, I'm just good enough. Oh, I have to get Sartaj to deal with that so I can even get into this thing. I better make a note. Sartaj. GBTC. I'll go CAPR on fire. If anybody wants Momo. That's interesting. So there's software just available just like that, eh? The bots. Thanks for doing that, Greg. Yeah, so I wonder if there's a way, so what do I do? You just complain to Twitter and say, kill this bot? CAPR. I don't know if I want to trade a stock like this right now, but money has no name, right? Wow. Okay, natural resistance is where? It's right at it, right? Oh yeah, it's right at it right now. So it's got, let's mark them quick here. Horizontal line. There's one right there. Horizontal line. Right there. The thing that makes me nervous about $2 stocks is that, like, the stocks say like AAOI, right? You see how much confidence I had in it. I can have a lot more confidence in holding through those downdrafts, and I don't take as many paper cuts. Because your paper cuts, depending on how you execute them, if you execute them with precision, you're fine. But if you aren't radically disciplined a lot, anyway, it's just a different way to trade, right? Some people are better at others. Okay, so if this actually gets up in there, it doesn't give you a lot of room though. Like it gives you 235. No, it doesn't. I mean, in between those, that's. I guess you just small entry at, like AOI, I went deep there on those accounts. Just small entry at. Let it prove out, I guess. That's what you do. So let's just alarm it. You get it down on the 5. Take a closer look at it. That makes sense about Twitter, Greg. Once we get the new computer set up, I'm going to be live in Discord all the time for chat and stuff. It's just my systems are lagging so heavy that it's going to be nice to have new gen computers set up. I'm sure it's going to relieve my life a lot. So yeah, we might want to just do some small chippy stuff here just for fun and see if See if we can get in on a sizable win. I just wonder, you know, what's its, well, I'll take a look here. Buy, market. Really got to get hotkeys set up for IB. Market, 1,000, 1,000. What's its liquidity like? Oh, there's no liquidity. What? Did I just do that? Oh yeah, there is. I'm talking about 18 million, 2.5 million. Huge liquidity. I keep thinking sometimes that's like 18.5 thousand. I never claimed to be the smartest person in the world. At least I know where I stand. Oh, snorting is so embarrassing. Okay, I don't know. If this thing alarms, I guess I'll just try and, you know, get chippy into it and see if I can get something in the afternoon. I like, you know, bit of a dream there maybe. Okay, what else? VERI, we're in it. HMNY, looked at OPNT. So this has been on our list recently too. So these markets are starting to open up. Well, 3 or 4 days ago, 3 or 4 trading days ago, I was like, this is shifting. They're starting to come back to me. That rotation really bugged me there for 6 or 7 weeks. They just wouldn't come back to me. We'd look at a chart and it wouldn't come back. Look at a chart, it wouldn't come back. It's like playing whack-a-mole with like 3,000 charts. Terrible. PNT, yeah, Bitcoin won't be liquid for a while when it's through that resistance area. It's going to be challenging, that resistance area, for sure. That resistance area is not for beginners. It's, you know, for people that can put up with charts and working through the ebb and flow of technicals. What a bounce. Wow. Impressive. I can't do it, but I do like it for day trading. But I've got better right now. ACTG. Oh, you know what? I can't shut off these charts. Oops. I'll just bring one up and then shift through them. That's much faster. Resistance is, I think it was 4,500, wasn't it? No, I'm looking at the XBTUSD, so you'd have to do the translation because I'm not sure what the translation is between the two, but your resistance ends at 4,500. So your resistance is 4,000 to 4,500. That area is going to be choppy. I don't know if it'll take an hour or a year to get through it, but it will be choppy. But I'll tell you, if you learn how to trade through it, when you get on the other side of it, you'll understand that the natural trading ranges, right? The retracements and stuff, and exactly how they work, because everything's got a natural trading environment. ACTG on the 5. Let's look at the daily. So that's why I'm not trading in it right now, because I think it's going to have huge ROI for me. I'm trading in it right now because when it comes out the other side, I want to be fully ready to totally exploit it. Right up against this 200. Interesting. So that'll probably work its way up through. But for now, not my deal until it does. Let's just alarm it. Okay, don't shut that chart down. This guy's going to be standing outside my window here in 4 minutes. Wow, am I hungry too. BBLT. I think I'm just going to have to tell him another time. Works better. That's pretty frickin' cool too. But, you know, its chart history isn't the best. Sucks, quite frank. Just doesn't make the grade on my. KEYW. Interesting. Just from the perspective that this is probably its bounce zone. NBRV. Pretty interesting stuff, boy. S. Sprint up against the 200. It's a boring chart. Tough to get ROI out of this stock. SLXT. Wow. That's cool stuff. You got to know how to, you know, it's for the experienced day trader. Mark on the daily. Remark. Dang it. Oh, I knew about this in advance. I'm just going back in memory right now about a conversation. Okay, so that's Mark. GDS. Anyway, it's not my thing. Oh, wow, look at that. What's the liquidity like on this thing? What is wrong with my cursor? 435,000. It's not bad. It's not great, but it's enough to work with. Wowza. Man, there's some great charts. Okay, this one's hitting the list. I like this a lot. GS horns on watch. And publish. GDS. Sortage. GBTC. Okay, well this one is got my attention in a big way. Wow, serious business. That's one serious chart. Man, there's been some good charts the last 3 days. 3 or 4 days, whatever it's been. See, this is the kind of thing I'm worried about. Not that, you know, any chart can has pullbacks, but it's the way it pulls back. I haven't watched to see how volatile that was. Can't remember if I alarmed this one. Wow. Dang it. Here, let's look at the alarms. I did not. Love this. Divergent now. Divergent to the bull side. It's a great chart. Well, it's improving. HMNY because of its divergence. Okay, I want to get this one off the board. VERI. I just got to make a quick list here. GBTC, AAOI, XBTUSD. We talked about SPY. We went through a bunch of other stuff. ARRY. VERI. VERI. CAPR. GDS. What a sexy chart. Oh, look at that. LTRX got jump. So that was the one that had the insider buys. GBP. I think for now, I'm just going to shut this one off. I need room on the board. BW, nice. Yeah, he's standing over beside my window right now, Chris. He'll wait. He came this far. There's a war coming, folks, I'm telling you. Well, it's on. It's just... It's not on ABC News yet. Interesting chart. Not my thing. LTRX, well, that's over. Well, that's obviously not over, but anyway. Insider buys, I believe that's the one on my list. Club. This is a trending stock. Hard to get a ROI out of it. This is, you know, traditional swing trading platform, hedge fund type chart. Yeah, there's a massive war coming. It's massive. I could have just bowed out of it and not touched it, but it's a principle thing. Let me tell you, there was hours and hours and hours of conversations, hours with different people about what we would or wouldn't do, or what we will do in the future. And it comes down to it came down to a principle-based decision, and different people will stand on different sides of it. So EPZM, isn't that a funky chart? Neat. It doesn't trade the way I prefer, like as its daily action, but it sure respects that 200 and symmetry. And the moves are fairly, like the ROI on those moves is decent. 1336 to 19, and you know, you got August 15th to like 3 weeks. Those are nice moves. Up against natural resistance, big natural resistance. Very big. But this is a really, really nice chart. I'm gonna bet this one's going. I think it's gone. I don't like the specific daily action on these candles at all. But I sure like the chart. That MACD is about to come back up, squeezes up, and the stock RSI is up, and it's scraping the ceiling of resistance. That is so bullish. The only thing it's missing is more volume. That is stupid bullish. Wow, look at that chart. Wow, what a chart. See, the thing is, not only will it work against, like, work up and have to work through the resistance of its history, every time it does, it gets up on top of another support platform too, right? So it's a process. But the bulls can take it, you know, from where it is right now, easily to 2365. It's a resistance area, but, and then 26 is the next stop, and 28. Oh, CAPR just flagged, alarmed. You know, I can't trade it, but just so you guys know, so if somebody, you know, somebody wants to trade it, I just can't bring myself to find comfort in it. I have, because I'm really going into a mode here of really sizing in. Like, I don't know if you noticed it, but I sized in on AAOI. I'll be sizing in heavy between now and Christmas, end of January. I actually want to take a test position on this. Look at that MACD's curling back up on the daily. Well, I'm going to just leave it alarmed. I got this fellow here that needs to see me. I'm going to talk with him and possibly trade at the same time. He's got my trust, so he won't see anything private, but he will be in the room. Interesting. there's any I missed here, sorry, but QDEL maybe. Might be a few other on there. Oh man, this is gonna go just revved right up. Pardon me, sorry. It's hard for me to get to that button fast enough. Okay, so this is a 1 minute. 2 minutes and 44 seconds left. So going into the completion of the first or the last minute of the 5 minute candle, if it gets bullish, I'm going to hit it. But it's into resistance, so chances are that it's going to struggle. But it's 1:12 in the afternoon. Everything is bullish. It's into resistance. It's at high day. It's scraping the ceiling with all the indicators up. I mean, you can't get any more bullish. I guess increasing volume would do it. That'd make it more bullish. And I have to, like, I'm not trying to sound egotistical, but people that aren't in the room today that normally are, or whatever, or that need a little bit of education on trading. Like a lot of you have had lots of time now, but this day today has been, I believe, a really good, prepper for beginner day traders. Some of this stuff. Just got a minute and 15 seconds left. Like, look at the bulls. They're just scraping the ceiling. Every opportunity they get. Minute left. Thirty seconds. Seconds. Here's the switch. Wow. The bulls aren't selling at all. There's a sale. So it came back and touched VWAP on the 5. Oh, that construction outside my place, hopefully it's done soon. Wow, what did they give it, a penny? So this thing might just go sideways for the rest of the day. Wow, am I hungry? 1:16 p.m. here. I'm really surprised that Twitter throttled my account that hard. And that's the kind of thing that causes people like myself and Sartaj and other people to create a competitor. It's like the whole world's picking sides right now. Whether they actually do or not. Okay, so that's the resistance there. So I set that alarm right. So that'll be the deciding factor, that alarm. So the buys are ready. I'll look at these charts really quick. So why didn't GDS alarm? VERI, make sure. What happened here? I thought I had set an alarm there. Just a beautiful range. Gorgeous. Just gorgeous. GBTC, I can get that off the board because it's just a matter of waiting for the resistance to break. AAOI. So I'm still holding some of this, correct? The one account I'm holding 100. The other account I'm holding 150 and some ARRY. $71.29. So AAOI, sell 100, limit at HMNY, just alerted. 71.49. And then this one's holding 150. Limit 71.49. And HMNY, when I was talking about central banks and Jamie Dimon and cryptocurrency. They throttled my viewership from, I get between 50 and 150,000 a day, normally around 50 to 80,000 impressions. But as soon as I started talking about Jamie Dimon, central banks, and cryptocurrency, they throttled me down to 10,000. So they can throttle how many people see your feed. Normally I get between 50 and 150,000 a day, and it immediately went down to 10,000. Immediately, like as soon as I started talking about it. So if you go back to my feed, I was telling the truth about Jamie Dimon and what they were doing. And crypto and central banks. Yeah, that's what they're doing. It's true. It's not an imagination. I mean, it happened to me live. Like, live. You go back on my feed. Exactly when I started doing it, I throttled it. HMNYs. 547. 717. So it's got to get up over that. If it gets up over, I'll ride with this one. If it gets up over, I'll call it $5. So I'm going to go and visit with this reporter. I'll still be in the room to trade. I'll just put him on the other side of my monitors here. So there's nothing private that he sees. And that's it for midday review as far as I can tell. Unless somebody has a chart they got to look at, or would like to look at, or would like to share with group. Fantastic midday. Just fantastic. Fantastic pre-market, fantastic morning market, fantastic midday. These markets are getting ready. They're ready right now. They're moving. Awesome. Okay. Well, I don't think I have to go through that chart. So thanks, guys. I'll visit with this fellow here, and I'll still be in the room because I see just a ton of setups here that I set my sell order at 71.49 on AAOI. I'm not sure if I'll get it. I should really set a sell order on ARRY just in case. And anyway, so that's midday review. Thanks. I'll be in the room, and I do expect to be trading here this afternoon.